You're listening to episode 62 of the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman. We're doing a solo today. It's with me only today, and it's basically a step-by-step guide for using Instagram stories, because I have had messages from people saying that they would love to do it, but they don't know where to start. I have actually got a freebie on my website which will help you with this, and it's got some ideas for posting Instagram stories. So if you pop over to the show notes, which are on my website, which are through the link in the bio for my Instagram page, or riafreemanpr.co.uk, there's a freebies tab, and in there, it is in there. There's two others as well. Do whatever you fancy. But I'm going to literally walk you through. I have my phone in front of me, so I appreciate you might be listening to this when you're walking or driving or riding or mucking out or whatever. Obviously, don't grab your phone now if you're doing something that requires you to really concentrate. But I'm going to talk you through it with my phone in front of me and tell you the process that we're going to go through. So when you have a minute or when you want to post, you have a little bit more confidence. And when you do, I would love you to tag me, because I want you to share these stories. If you're like, oh, I'm not sure if anyone cares, I care. Tag me. I'm throwing down the gauntlet. I will do my best to comment, to repost, to share, to whatever. So I would really like you to do that. So first of all, I have opened up the Instagram app on my phone, and I am looking at my homepage, and I'm going to press the little home button on the bottom left. So it looks like a kind of house. It's the kind of house you'd see on a kid's eye test. So you tap on the kid's eye test house. I say that because both of my children have glasses, so I'm quite familiar with children's eye tests. So now I've basically got my Instagram feed up. So that's, if you scroll down, you can see what people are posting. And along the top, you've got the people's logos with the coloured circles around, and they are stories to watch. I know you're probably sitting there going, of course I know about Instagram stories. But, if we're starting at the start, we're starting at the start. But now it's going to get more interesting. So top left, you have a kid's picture of a camera. We click on that, and this is the stories function. This is the stories bit. So if you look at the very bottom of the screen, I can see my face now. I look like I'm a bit overheated. We've got a few different options. Now, some people have got a create option here. I am going to go into a different account when I've done this and look at the options that are there, because mine I know are different to other people's. Not everyone's, they're different to some people. So I am looking at the bottom of this here, and I have got type, which is a way that you can just put text onto Instagram stories. I've clicked on the type now. You can change the style of font. But at the top, you'll have modern. If you tap on that a few times, it changes. On the bottom left, you have got some different colour options. And on the bottom right, you have got a little camera icon, which you can twirl around as well. And that allows you to take a picture to use as a background. There is another way you can add type, but this is quite an easy way you can do it. So that allows you to add type and allows you to post to stories in that way. Next, we have live. So this is when you go live on Instagram, which I'm probably not going to do now, because I think an Instagram live is actually quite different to an Instagram story. So I think it's quite a different function. So we're not going to worry about the live now. We might do that another day. So we've got type. We're not going to stress about live. Now, normal, this is the one that I use the most because it's the easiest to work and it lets you do a lot. So first of all, you tap on the white button once. When you're doing this as well, don't think, oh, it'll post. It won't post. It won't post until you tell it to post. So you tap on the white button once and it will take a picture. You press the little twirly arrows, let's call it. It'll spin the camera around to you. You press the face with the blue dot and it'll add a filter, okay? So play around with this. This is the beauty of stories. You can mess around as much as you like at this point, and until you tell it to post, it won't post. So don't feel that pressure. So next up, if you hold your finger down on the normal button, it will video. So you can do it when the camera is facing you, and I do a lot of Instagram stories when I'm walking the dog. So I twirl around the camera so it's facing me, and I hold my finger on that white circle, and around the outside of that circle it will fill up with colour as you're talking. And it does that in 15-second rotations, because each Instagram story, each individual Instagram story is 15 seconds long. But it is good for another reason. So when you do it on here, I'm going to press the button now. And what happens is all around the outside of the button, it fills up with colour. So it starts at kind of pinky and it goes to orangey and yellowy, and it goes all the way around, and that's 15 seconds. Then it flips over into the next 15-second clip, and what you'll see as you're doing this, and what I'd encourage you to do if you're at all interested, is literally sit at your desk or sit in your car when it's not moving, when you're not driving, or wherever you are, where you're just stationary, just literally get the normal function up, hold your finger on that button, and you can see what is happening. I'm currently filming my desk to prove this point, and it's just filling up all the way around the outside. And then what I've got is at the bottom, when I release my finger, it comes up with those individual clips. Now, they will run together, one after the other, if they post in the right order, which sometimes doesn't happen. But what it does do, it allows you to, if you want to add subtitles, because a lot of people watch Instagram stories on silent, there are apps for that. To be honest, what I do, because I just do, is I go to the type function. So within the story now, you can see top right, there's a big A and a little a. I tap on that and I type. I might just type a summary of what I'm saying rather than word for word. I might add a few hashtags if I've got hashtags that if I'm saying, for example, with this podcast, I would say, make sure you screen tag and share to Instagram stories. And I might have hashtag Instagram stories in there, for example. You can do that really, really easily. And you can add different things to each page. You can also each piece of the story. You can also add different location tags. So if we look at the top of the screen, we have got the little sticker with the smiley face. If we tap on him, that opens all the stickers. And inside there, we have got location. So you can add a location tag, which can be really useful. You can mention people if you want to mention them in a separate sticker rather than just inside your text. You have got hashtags, and again, you can use this sticker or you can just add hashtags. There's other things as well, like the time. You can add a poll, you can add questions, countdowns, chats, all sorts, and GIFs. I love a GIF. So if you want to add something a little bit out there, go to GIF, type it in, and I'm going to tap on GIF now, and the first little thing they've got is a blue rosette, which reminds me of Dressage Anywhere, actually. It says I made this, which maybe not so much, but anything rosettes now, I think of Dressage Anywhere after the amazing one I've got in Hi Ho and Co bags. I've got all sorts going on. I've got a mobile phone taking a selfie of himself. I've got dog. It's all sorts of madness. So if you fancy that, go and have a look. I do like a GIF, and they are quite a fun way to add to a story. I've also got the temperature. I've also got a create don't hate sticker, which is something to do with online bullying. I can't actually see that now because sometimes if you tap on people's stickers, it allows you to do that. So there's quite a lot of functionality within there that's quite fun, which I will talk about in a minute. There's all sorts in there though, so you can add that, and you can add that to each individual 15-second Instagram story clip if you want to. If there's one that you're not so keen on as well, if you just tap on it and hold your finger on it, a little dustbin will come above it, and you can just click on that. It'll get rid of that story, and that's the end of that. You don't have to delete them all, you can just delete the one you're not happy with. Then on this one you would press next, and then it would ask you where you wanted to share, and you do that. Or what I'm going to do, because I've just basically filmed my desk whilst I'm talking to you, is press on the little cross top left, and job is a good one, and discard media, and it's gone. So now's a pretty good time to talk about the different stickers. So I'm just going to take another picture of my desk. None of these will go online because they are rubbish. And I'm going to go up to the, you can add a filter. So I'm actually adding a filter kind of retrospectively. I've now got glitter going across my desk. I don't tend to use filters. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I don't know, but I don't. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. Have a play with them. I often look at the filters to see how much improved they make me, and often it's a huge amount, but I just worry if someone meets me in public and I don't have cat ears on, they're not going to know it's me. I probably overthink this a bit. So you can add filters retrospectively. You can, then there's a little link symbol, and this is, if you have over 10,000 followers, this is the part where you're going to add your swipe up. But it also means that if you have an IGTV episode that is connected, that you want to link to a story, you can absolutely do that even if you have under 10,000 followers, which is a really useful little feature actually. It's one I need to take advantage of a whole lot more because whenever I see the link there and I'm doing a story, I think, oh, that would have been really good. And then I don't do it. So that's a really good function. And another good reason to use Instagram stories, actually. And then across, we've got the little face. So let's talk about the little smiley face sticker. So these are stickers. We've talked about location, mention, hashtags. What I want to talk about a little bit more, though, is the poll, the questions, the quiz, the countdown, and the little slider, because they're really popular ones that are really easy to use and a great way to get engagement. So don't think, oh, I have to ask something deep and meaningful. So look, this week is the start of I'm a Celebrity. I love I'm a Celebrity. I know it's kind of rubbish because they're basically just making people suffer and paying them money. It's very strange, really, if you analyse it in that level. But I love it. And I took a picture when I was watching it the other night, and I put, I'm a Celebrity, is my guilty pleasure. Are you with me or not? And I changed the poll questions, because it doesn't have to say yes or no. You can actually change them by just tapping on yes and tapping on no, and you can write whatever you want to write. And that was really fun, actually. I think I'm perhaps a bit unusual there. I know quite a few people did agree with me, quite a few people not so much. But it's a great way to get engagement. It could be you've got two different looks you're thinking about wearing to an event. Which one do people like the best? If that's what you want to do. It could be, do you like something? Are you going somewhere? Have you started your Christmas shopping yet? It doesn't have to be deep and meaningful things, but it's a really fun way to connect with people and to allow them to get to know you a bit better. Questions is a great one. You can tap on that and you can change what it says below your name. I think as a default it says ask me a question. So you can either have that, or you can add what you think about, or you can ask your question and then they can reply to you in the type something box. It's kind of a bit more controlled, I guess, if that's what you want. They can be good for all sorts of things. Anything that really is more than a yes/no answer, I guess. The countdown can be really good for events because you can put the event time that it kicks off and how excited you are about it. It's a really positive way to do that. The slider, again, it's almost a bit like a poll, but it usually shows how much you like something. So if there's something that you absolutely love, you could add the slider on, and it just encourages people to show you a reaction, which would be sliding up to say that they love something. And the final one I'm going to talk about today is the quiz one. Now, the thing with this is there's only one right option. So I've seen actually Supercross Country using quizzes really, really well this week when they've had loads of questions about a lot of horse-related things, and I've really loved that because it's always good to get your horsey knowledge in, and it's a really fun way again to get that interaction, to get that engagement. That is why Instagram Stories is so great. So that is normal. Well, that's what it says is normal. I mean, is anything normal anymore? Boomerang is when it allows you to go forward and backward over an image. So if you had something that's coming towards you, so it's quite fun if you've got a moving thing that you're trying to capture. So if you have a dog running towards you and you click on boomerang, the finished clip will show the dog coming towards you and basically reversing again. The dog doesn't have to reverse for this to work. That's just what boomerang does. Super zoom allows you to zoom in on something that you love, and when you press on super zoom, there's a few options across the top that have music and different reactions. That's not the right word. So it animates it, I guess, in a different way. I'm not sure that's quite the right word. But again, have a play with this. Focus is a little bit like portrait mode when I've used it, but I don't tend to use it that much on the phone, which is mad because I'm all about portrait mode, where it allows you to focus in on the object that you want it to focus in on. It's really struggling with my trial here. Let me try and focus it on a light. Yeah, it's not working. Oh, and there's different options there where you can mess about with the different effects in that too. So have a little play with that if you want to do that. And the last one on the options I've got here is hands-free. So like I said earlier, when you are in normal, and you want to record, you would hold your finger down on the button until you finish recording. With hands-free, you tap it once and off it merry well goes. The thing with this is it's great if you want to move away from the camera, because when you're doing like an Instagram story and you're chatting to the camera, the furthest you can get your kind of face away from the phone is your arm's length. But if you were trying to get more stuff inside the shot, it wouldn't be ideal. So hands-free is a good way to do that if you want to have a little bit more space to show people what's going on a little bit more. Now, if I switch onto someone else's account, they have got different options. So some people have now got different options within Instagram stories, but it's actually, a lot of it is very similar, it's just organized differently. So in the other account, there is live, there is create, and inside create, you have got type, you have got adding GIFs to your stories, you have got some templates you can use if you want to, you have got you can see people who have tagged you, which you want to share the stories. You can go back in time. You can have questions in there. So rather than having the sticker with the questions, you can have them inside there, and poll, and the quiz, and the countdown timer inside the create function. So that's a bit different. You've also got normal. But when you press on normal, you've also got the options if you tab on the sticker button that we discussed before. So don't think, oh, because I've got create, I don't have the functionality within the different bits. You absolutely do. And it's also got boomerang and super zoom and hands-free. So really the main difference to this one is it's got create. That's the first one it has got. And inside create, there's things in there too. So why use Instagram stories? Now, it's a good question, but I think they're a brilliant way to get people to see your behind the scenes of your life, to engage with you on different levels, so you can keep people posted about what you're up to, things you're seeing, things you're loving, and not necessarily in the highly polished way that a grid post would be. So now, I've got my Instagram in front of me, and I'm looking down my grid, I have got pictures that have got a really, really specific point. Many of them that I'm looking at the moment are, I've got some quotes, I've got some of Sophie's beautiful pictures, I have got my, day pass for the RAU, I have got the competition with Martha Brooke, which unfortunately by the time you listen to this, it won't be going anymore. But each one has been really carefully selected to show that sort of curated snapshot of my day. But there's more that goes on in my day than this carefully curated snapshot. So I'm recording this on the Tuesday. Yesterday I was at the RAU, and that's why I put that post up that's saying I was at the RAU. But I was also at Equiboodle that morning, and when I was walking into the RAU, I filmed and chatted about what I've been chatting about at Equiboodle, because we've got an event on Friday that I'm really excited about and want people to know about. But that would be a lot of information to put in one post. So I use the stories to give the background. Looking down here, I have got a picture. What was I whittering on about there? About where you listen to podcasts. So I might talk about that on Instagram stories, about how I'm always listening when I'm walking the dog, because that's a really fundamental part of my day, actually, and I really, really enjoy it. But the way you show that is by one image or a link to a 60-second video. Whereas stories, you can capture things that just show your day as you go along. The whole document don't create thing which is a Gary Vee thing, I love it, I use it a lot, is basically made for Instagram stories in my view. It's what you should be doing with Instagram stories. Some people do beautifully curated ones, they do templates, they have things swooshing in and moving off, but the ones that I love watching the most are the ones that are just real life as they happen. They're not edited to within an inch of their life, they're just as they are, because I feel like I get to know so much more about people in those moments. I love the grid posts, I love the kind of curated, edited snapshots of the day, but I really like seeing all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and actually allows people to connect with you on a much, much deeper level, because I probably wouldn't, obviously I have talked about that, I listen to podcasts and walking the dog here, but actually the other thing with that, when I actually took that picture, was I was walking at a big estate down the road, and I don't know when it got sold, but it's beautiful, it's stunning. I don't know how many acres it is, it's a massive house and it's lovely. But when I was actually walking on there, there's CCTV all round in the woods, which does feel a bit strange. So I was chatting away about how it was really strange, because I felt like I was being watched. And then there was the river that I saw that actually it's the same one that Victoria Knowles-Lax talks about in her book. And I was like, oh my God, this is the river. Now, a picture of a river on its own, I may have posted it on my grid, but it wouldn't have been a key thing for me because I'm on my own and there's a river. But actually, when I could talk about it on the stories and put it in context, it made a lot more sense. So it's capturing stuff that happens in your day. Another good thing about Instagram stories, I'm going to say that a few more times before this podcast is through, is that they only last for 24 hours. So when you put your grid post up, it's obviously there until you archive it or you delete it. But when you put up a story, it's only there for 24 hours unless you save it to highlights, which can allow you to be a bit more experimental, to try things that are a little bit scary because 24 hours they're gone, or you can delete it earlier if you like. It's a really fun way to express yourself. It really, really is. Hashtags also work on Instagram stories. You can hide them or you can have them. So hide them by colour matching. Again, I've got a blog on that, which I will put a link to in the show notes. If you want to, which can be really good when people use the discover function. You can get a lot of if your stories are picked, you can get some really good traction there through being connected to that hashtag. And it's just got loads and loads of amazing functionality and I flipping love it. I get a lot of engagement from my stories, usually people laughing at some calamity that's happened. But that's fine, that's life. And it is good fun. And I think it's really good that you get to share these with the people that you want to share it with. It's a great way of trying new things. It's a great way of engaging with your audience. And I know it's scary, and I speak to a lot of people who say, I could never put my face on video. I could never do that. I find video less scary than still pictures. I'm not sure why, but I do. But if getting your face on Instagram stories scares you, don't do that to start with. You can walk along and show people the scenery and talk about it if you want to. You don't have to have your face there. You can take still pictures of your day to document it that way. You don't have to video. There's so much stuff built into Instagram stories. And the thing is as well, if when you're going about your daily life, you've either run out of data, I hear you, that just seems to be the bane of my life most months, you can still take pictures and take videos as you go about your life, just using your normal camera function, and then upload them at a later time. Some people do this from a safety point of view as well. They don't want to post in real time if they're somewhere on their own and they don't feel very safe. I mean, I feel that is perhaps, I don't think it's dramatic actually, because I think anything we can do to look after our own safety is a positive. If you're kind of walking home alone in the dark at night, maybe don't post with a big old location tag about where you are. But if you wanted to document a bit of that kind of going, oh yeah, great evening out, you could take a picture of it and post it when you're at home. You don't have to post in real time. You can still have all the other functions. You can still have all the stickers, all the other bits that you want to have, and you can post later. Also, if you want to be more present in the moment, you can also post later. So if you wanted to do a video, let's say, of you were having a lovely time with your friends and family, and you wanted to show that through Instagram stories, but you thought, actually, I really want to hashtag it. I really want to do the, say, closed captions, subtitles, but they're going to take me a while, and they do if you do them the way I do. They do take a little bit of time. Don't post it in that moment. Wait until you get home and you've got a bit of time. You've got good Wi-Fi signal. Wait until you've got those things in place. You don't always have to post in real time to have a really good story going on. And actually, even when I try sometimes, it doesn't. When my data runs out, it posts when I get home. I do it. I do often record when I'm out, but I'll post later if I just haven't got data or I get interrupted and I can't add the hashtags or something like that. Or if I'm listening to a really good podcast and I want to kind of take some pictures as I go, but I want to keep listening, I will take the pictures and then post when I get home or later that day. I usually post in real time, but I'm definitely not against doing it. And I think that if that's the way you want to go, do it. You can edit then if you want to as well. If you want to make sure that you've trimmed the clips, so you cut out when you coughed in the middle. I mean, I would embrace the coughing, but you know what I mean. If you want to edit your images and then post them on stories, you can do that by doing this. So what I would love you to do, I'd obviously love you to pop over to the show notes, because there is that download to some Instagram story ideas that I think would be really good. I would love you to have a go though. I would love you, even if you're a seasoned pro on Instagram stories. I mean, the first thing you could do is screenshot your phone, share this to stories and tag me. That's the Instagram story done already. And I love that, just side note. But also, I would love to see a bit of your day when you listen to this. It can be that you're going to see your horse at night and it's dark, and isn't it annoying that it's getting dark earlier? I'm fine with that. It's real life. We need to be real on social media. There's so much pressure to have this perfectly curated life. I mean, I wouldn't show you the video I've just taken off my desk. It is like a bomb site because I've been out of the office a lot. So I just kind of dump stuff on the desk to deal with when I have time. And at the moment, that time slot hasn't opened up. So it's a bomb site. I wouldn't show you this because it is a bomb site. But I think if we can be more real, that's one of the reasons I don't use filters as well. People do, and I'm like, if you want to use a filter and it allows you to get out there and do it, do it. So I guess I'm filtering my desk life from you, but I don't filter my face from you. You can do things to make yourself more comfortable, but don't think, oh, the field's muddy. Well, yeah, the field's muddy. It's November and it's rained a lot. If it's real life and you want to share it, people don't see the things that we see. I mean, if I showed you the desk, you'd see the messiness of the desk. But when I take a picture of my face, I am looking at the dark circles under my eyes, the fact that I probably need to get my roots done, that I look tired, all of these things. I've got wrinkles where I didn't think I had them yesterday. But normally, the people who are watching me, well, I've never had a comment about any of those things. I mean, there's an ongoing joke about my wild hair with quite a few people, but that's a different story. And I very much encourage that because it is wild. But I've never had someone message me going, God, you look rough today. I've had quite the opposite, actually. I've had people who aren't the unusual people that kind of contact you and you're like, oh, God. Actual friends, actual people I know through social who have contacted me and said, oh my God, your hair looks amazing today. And things like that I'm like, oh, wow, that's amazing. That's really kind. Thank you. So the things that we see and the things that we beat ourselves up over, people don't notice. So don't be so critical of yourself. It's not good, and it's not needed, and it's not necessary. And if someone is having a swipe at you, that is on them. They are not your people if they're being horrible to you. And I think what you will find is you will find your real people that actually care if you are yourself, if you show up, if you just let people into your world a little bit more. I can't guarantee that you will never come across somebody who is unpleasant. Sadly, I wish I could. I wish that social media didn't have that side to it that I hear so much about and have experienced a couple of times, but never about Instagram stories. But I can't lie to you and say it might not happen. But what I can say is that I reckon it's going to happen a lot less than you think it will. And also, when it does, those people aren't your people. And your people are the only ones you need to appeal to. Screw the rest of them. That's the thought for today. That's a way to end a podcast. So I'd love you to have a go at Instagram stories. Tag me in them. I'm at Ria Freeman PR. I would love to see you absolutely acing it. If you would like me to give you any feedback, I'm up for that. If not, I'll cheerlead. And I'd just love to see you using them. I think what I really want is you to just try, because I've heard so many people who are so anxious about this, and I want to say to you, you don't need to be anxious. You can make it work for you. That's what I want you to do. So, got a bit deep at the end there. Sorry, team. So I would love you to screenshot share to stories. I would love you to pop over to my website and have a look at the show notes, because there is a freebie there if you're kind of lacking a little inspiration. That will help you. And I'll join you next week. We'll hang out next week. We've got a really good interview next week. And then we're into Podmas, which is honestly going to be quite something. It's a podcast a day for 24/25 days. short podcast today with some of the most amazing businesses and people I have the absolute pleasure of hanging out with, and I cannot wait to share that series with you. There is a lot of laughs. So thanks so much for joining me this week. We'll catch up next week, and have a brilliant week.